Good evening, it's Margie C., Fed Up Granny 62, Chatty Great Granny, Chatty Great Granny 62, aka Margie C., or Margie Chatty Great Granny 62, aka, I don't know. I've got lots of names on all of my platforms. I am on tonight at 10 o'clock on a Friday night. It's February the 8th, and the reason I'm on is purpose-driven. I'm going to post this on YouTube, X, Patreon, Rumble, anywhere I can, to make sure that it can go out. I've been working on this investigation and understanding of what's going on, politically speaking, all over the world for a number of years now. And it began for me, as I've said in lots of other videos, around 2012, when Pope Benedict was retired. There was a lot of conspiracies around that some of which turned out to be true. And we had a new pope that seemed to be very in league with the modernist worldview and the sustainability projects and the environmentalism as God. And he didn't sound right to me as a Catholic girl who came to my faith over the course of a lifetime. I was born and baptized Catholic as a baby, but I lived my life with an understanding of God and what Canada would allow as far as Catholic teaching was concerned, because I was born in 1962. Being born in 1962 in Canada meant a great deal, especially to a smart, observant, weird kid like me who might be on the spectrum. I just shared on my X profile the Sunshine Baby announcement, or most recent podcast, or whatever you call them, regarding this backroom conversation that Justin Trudeau was having with the Liberal caucus, I suspect, and various government people of unknown origin, unknown names. He kicked all of the reporters out of the room and was heard saying something about Trump seriously trying to invade Canada or something to that effect. Anyway, that's the message he's trying to promote to these people in a back room somewhere, according to what the Canadian news is trying to report. Now, remember Canadian news isn't real news. It's state propaganda news. So anything that comes over the TV is a lie. Most Canadians are starting to wake up to that fact. Only the stupid ones that the Liberals are counting on to vote for them, and the NDP, to a lesser degree, are counting on to vote for them. And the poor French-speaking only people who don't get bilingual information that isn't adulterated in Quebec, so they don't know what's going on, truly, unfortunately, because if they're only French-speaking, they have to believe the stuff that they're hearing. I suspect that's the reason why the Bloc keeps getting voted in, and the Bloc needs to be challenged a little bit too, my dear. You shouldn't really be representing Canada in caucus, in the federal caucus, because you only really represent Quebec, and the only people you really represent in Quebec are the people who pay your bills, I suspect. I hope I'm wrong, because if I'm wrong, that would mean that you will vote non-confidence at your earliest convenience and vote to have an election. Mr. Bloc Leader, Jackie, my boy, if you don't vote non-confidence, then you might have to go be investigated for treason, my dear. I think that's still allowed to happen in Canada, unless Justin Trudeau took the criteria that qualifies as treason. Well, not Justin Trudeau, let's face it. It's never been Justin Trudeau. It's always been the globalists or China. It's always been the Mark Carneys or the people who used him to get their agenda propagated so that Canada is ripe for the picking. Now, my suspicion, now this is just a 62-year-old woman. Am I 62 or am I 61? Can't quite remember. August 62. Oh, I guess I'm 62. I'm sorry. My memory is purposefully damaged when it comes to my age because I don't want to be 62. Because I feel like I should be still pretty active and I'm unable to be. Someday, I hope to maybe share that stuff with people if anybody cares to talk to me. I've been a canceled girl for a long time because I've never really been right with this world I was born into, because this world I was born into was effed up, messed up, a problem. And I knew it right from the very beginning. But I love Canada. And I've lived coast to coast in Canada, not northern coast, but east coast to west coast. British Columbia to Newfoundland. Was educated in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Alberta, 2 times in Alberta, British Columbia, and then Ontario, which wasn't really much of an education because by the time I got to Ontario grade 9, it was basically elementary school. And there was 13 years. And I learned early on that somebody like me wasn't going to be able to get the education I wanted to get. So I went another way. And I ended up back in Alberta where I got my college education. Anyway, where it was real. It was real education. Still in the 80s. Anyway, back to it. The reason I'm doing this podcast, and it's going to take a while, I've had to make notes because I want to make sure that I can be succinct with the warning I'm giving to my American brothers and sisters and family members that live in America, and the Canadian brothers and sisters and family members that live in Canada, and anybody throughout the world who might be finding that there seems to be an acceleration of something bad happening. Well, something bad is going to happen if we don't all get an understanding of what's going on. I would like to do this videotape live. I've already spoken for 8 minutes. I'm going to take a pause, upload this, and then try to record the rest of it. Actually, I'm concerned. And I'm going to tell you why I'm concerned. And it's only an opinion, but I believe that Canada is about to experience a coup. And if we don't, a illegitimate takeover of our parliament and our government process by an unelected leader at the first opportunity that they feel to do it. And I believe they're going to use Mr. Trump's statement of making Canada its 51st state as a reason to make an emergency to protect Canada from the United States. But what they're really doing is they're protecting Canada from being taken over by Canadians again, from the globalists.
Next, we have Maurice
infiltrated every aspect
your
of
special envoy to Latin America, sir.
and plans to
Good man.
reduce everything to globalist care and control. Mark Carney, for example, recently I overheard him saying that he does not want to do business in Canada, if he becomes Prime Minister, with anybody who isn't sustainable. Before Carney left, there was a sustainable action taken for the banks in Canada. The banks were starting to be compromised and refusing, like they do in the United States now, they're refusing to do business with conservative organizations. Rebel News tried to get a loan with a AAA credit rating through the Royal Bank of Canada and was denied. There are 4 banks, the CIBC, the Toronto Dominion, which was caught laundering money, I believe the Bank of Montreal, and one other bank here in Canada who refused to go along with the globalist takeover of the banks. Now remember, back in 2008, the reason Canada didn't get hit as badly with the global economic meltdown that the globalists orchestrated through the banking system and caused all kinds of forfeiture of property ownership all over the world. Guess what? Canada didn't have to go through that because Canada's restrictions on banks provided for us not to be held hostage to these new tranched, whatever they were, diversified kind of products that mixed bad mortgages in with good mortgages under a AAA credit rating. I know what I'm talking about. I just can't remember what the names of these things are. I've been out of banking for now 20 years. Actually 25 years when I had to give it up for my health reasons. Anyway, back to it. So the coup, I'm going to be discussing in full in my next video. I'm going to upload this one right away so that everybody can have a chance, hopefully, to watch as I try to post it live. God bless you. Have a good day. I'll be with you in about 15 minutes. God bless you.